Welcome to Breakfast Central here on News Central on a Monday morning. We are indeed back and ready to go for another full week. I'm Johansson.
And Monday feels like a morning for fresh opportunities, a new week, and some of the biggest stories that have happened over the course of the weekend, as well as the ones that are just starting this weekend. We're here to break everything down, as well as give you the opportunity to be a part of the conversation when we open the phone lines. I am Olive MOD.
Good morning and welcome to Breakfast Central. The grass is green on our side. We've decided to wet the grass here and make it green. That's why you can see Joe and I. I'm sure lots of you at home are greening with envy, like Olive is.
Just like Olive.
No. I'm the lady on the show.
Who's
So
a
I have to
little
stand
pink,
out.
you know?
I can't green with envy because people are wearing olive green. So.
Oh, I get your point, but it's good to be back.
About you planet.
No, great minds just think alike. You
So
know.
what are you saying about my mind?
I just woke up and I said,
mind
no,
is
I gotta look green.
Your
like
mind
the
is
vegetation.
pinkish and we're the brain.
Do you know what's interesting? I actually ironed a green outfit.
Well,
I
you
wore
did
it.
green last
I wore it, exactly. I did green, but because I have one day missing for my green because I couldn't come to
wanted
work
to
for the
compensate
emergency.
for
I wanted to compensate. I wore it. It wasn't given, so I pulled it and wore this instead.
But it's good to be back. I mean,
happy.
first day of the week, and so many things happened over the weekend. The weekend went by
Too
in a
fast.
flash. I think the government should increase weekend to 3 days.
Oh, all of a sudden you think that I've been an advocate of it. I think that a 4-week work cycle would
You
be
get
the
the
best
best
for
out of
Nigerians
people.
because if you know you're working Monday through Thursday and then the weekend starts on Friday, so you're not going to work on Friday, so you have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you're able to get the quality, you're able to get, better output. Joe, why are you doing me, Yimu? But it's true now.
Even if they extend it, I mean, it's been proposed in the UK.
There are some countries
And
that
they're
already
still
have
looking at it.
implemented a
Yeah, but-
4-week work schedule.
Olive, we'll still go and that day that we're supposed to rest, we'll say, it's Friday, let's do something. We'll add
I will not
something to the
do.
calendar.
I will never do.
I don't think this is going to work anyway. So
Nigeria.
we're just dreaming.
Let's
Let's get back to reality.
Never say never. The Gen Zs, for example, and the Gen Alphas, in our older ages, you'll be surprised at the kind of things.
Very true.
Will our parents have ever imagined that a time will come when people will work from home? Innovation just allows people to start to think of.
Would
creative
Mary
ways to
Slessor
do-
have thought that there was a time that they would not kill twins?
No, before Mary Slessor, would people have thought that there's a time?
Yeah.
So anything can happen. I'm rooting on the
Yes.
Gen Zs and the Gen Alphas to ensure that we reduce our work days from 5 days a week to 4 days a week, so we can have 3 days for the weekend. But Benga, it's good to have you back in the studio. Last week you were out on the streets, reporting from outside.
Yeah, I mean,
I had to leave AC journalism, like both of you, and do the real work that journalists are paid to do. I was on the field. And you guys were, so proud, asking me questions. I wanted to reply you like those social media. Go and ask your grandfather. But it was, it was a good one. It's good to be out there, exercise, see people, interact with people, not just phone calls, not just sitting in the studio.
And it's an important story you went there
very
to cover.
important.
Very
And
important.
I mean, serious health and safety. And the irony is there was a mudslide in that same estate,
Wow.
which is that the irony is telling the story of what will happen if they continue that construction in the gorge, because it will move the soil. And it was just a very narrow escape. There was a big boulder on the headrest of the lady. She had a gush on her head. A car was completely gone, decimated.
I saw that car.
It was terrible. And I mean, questions. You don't wait until disaster happens before you start doing things. You're not reactive. That could have been prevented. They were saying this building should not, the building owners were complaining about construction in a designated no construction zone. They went ahead to do it. Look at what happened. It was just a miracle that there wasn't any loss of life. And they're about to do the same thing in a gorge.
sometimes you wonder how people reason and think, and the difference is they're even educated.
And now the authorities would even
would
grant
allow
license for such.
In your interview, I did recall that while you were speaking to the chairman of the association, he said that someone has, in one way or the other, not told the governor the truth one way or the other, because it's like trying to tell the governor, they've convinced him that don't worry, they can build something there, whereas they can't. I think sometimes, as when you're in power, you would have a lot of proposals come in front of you.
And again,
it's good to do due diligence.
Is going to be a bane. I mean, it's already a bane in our development as a society, because you tend to cut corners for people you know. And I mean, if there are rules, then please follow the rules. And we'll get to people breaking rules.
I agree.
I think today's wake up is about rules and regulations.
I think both of you should take the first story, looking at, as you know, seeing as both of you are wearing NYSC color.
Shade.
Olive.
That means,
Olive,
look,
don't start
I mean, if Johansson had the type of temperament I had before, we'd just be looking at ourselves until just 3 hours will pass until we take that story. You don't know me.
Breaker, you don't know somebody that actually had that kind of temperament. When we go on break, I remind you who the person was.
Kind of like reminds me of that old home video. I'm an evil genius. Way back. Yes.
Thank God I don't work with evil geniuses. I work with great people. All right, NYSC core members, please go ahead.
No. I mean, go ahead. Let's leave the floor.
It's a female story. It's better if you...
Okay, let's watch it further now.
We'll be here to just...
Anyway, we'll do the honors if you don't want us to. If you don't want to talk about it. Well, there's an update on the NYSC, in quotes, lady who had spoken out about the hardship in Nigeria. Recently, she put out a video on X and on socials where she put out, that's it, that's the video you can see on the screen. She mentioned what she's been going through, how she's been able to cope with it, coping mechanism, and the course of this entire situation is hinged on the fact that she didn't get her NYSC certificate. And how did she react? But then again, let's just watch the video. We'll come back and talk about the story in a bit.
I feel like it's so much anger, but I just cannot release it. I'm trying to buckle everything up. And honestly, when I look back and I'm like, how much do I need this certificate? This is something that I genuinely need. And to be very honest, if not for my family, I wouldn't even give a damn about it. But yeah, bye guys. I did not get my NYSC certificate today after 1 year of serving this country. I literally went there with my cohort people, or should I say people we served together, and when it was my turn, they said no certificate for you. I had to go home, and since then I locked myself at home and I was looking like a mess. I didn't talk to anyone, but today I decided to get up and go to the gym. It's been a long time I went to the gym, and I just feel like I need to let some steam off my body so I no longer feel angry towards myself. Yes, I genuinely feel angry towards myself, and I feel like I was played big time. You know when people think like, oh, because they're older than you, they are smarter and they can put you in a corner, and that's the kind of emotions that's running through my vein. I feel like it's so much anger, but I just cannot release it. I'm trying to buckle everything up. And honestly, when I look back and I'm like, how much do I need this certificate? This is something that I genuinely need. And to be very honest, if not for my family, I wouldn't even give a damn about it. But yeah, bye guys.
All right. There she is. So the story started from the fact that she said she was supposed to go get her NYSC certificate. She and her friends, and she has proof in that video. But while they gave to others, it got to a turn. They told her there's no NYSC certificate for her, and she had to leave. But how did she cope with it? That's a good way she handled it, by going to the gym, taking her minds off, and so on. But that does not negate the fact that there's a history around this story, and the history all started from when this same young lady had criticized the current administration, saying that things are very tough, and to even survive as an NYSC core member, talk less of being an NYSC core member, not a Nigerian, is very hard. And then she got the bashing, especially from NYSC itself, where they said she should retract her statement, that she's not supposed to make such statement. And then she also received a phone call in which it was recorded, where she was threatened, as it were, that she should not do that any longer. Rather, she should retract that statement. But then again, this...
I mean, just to add to that, they've also responded as to why, even though she's made this claim as to the fact that NYSC has deprived her of getting her call-up certificate with her mates, or getting her NYSC certificate with her mates, NYSC has now responded. So NYSC has given a reason. They say this is a clarification of non-issuance of national service to core member Uche Rita Ugwamaye, state code number, then her state is there. Let's move on. They said it's a misleading information. And then they said, contrary to false claims that she was denied a certificate of national service due to critical remarks about the government, this assertion is entirely unfounded and false in its entirety. Rita is among the 131 core members whose certificates of national service, CNS, were withheld for valid disciplinary reasons. Specifically, Rita's service year has been extended by 2 months for failing to attend the April 2025 biometrics clearance, a decision that aligns with the NYSC bylaws. It's important to note that this extension is a standard procedure and not unique to our case, and the principle of equal treatment was only applied in this case. NYSC management thus urges the public to approach this matter with understanding, as extending service for non-compliance is a long-standing tradition within the NYSC. Now, she's also put up, if you check her caption on Instagram, she put up a caption with that video. And in the caption, she gave an explanation in the final paragraph. She said, after I was contemplating if I should share this or not, but decided to. After 1 year of moving to another man's land to serve my country, ended with no certificate and telling me to come for final verdict that we already know how it will end. I genuinely wish I wasn't a Lagos State copper because it's a waste of my time. I cannot say moving here was bad, but serving here isn't all pleasure. Just to add to it, they said the reason I'm not getting my certificate is because I didn't clear myself for the month of April on my scheduled date. But what they aren't saying is how I was present to get cleared. Yet, the LGL kept asking me to go to the back, and when she finally wanted to attend to me, she said she won't clear me. She seized my file and told me to get out. This is a long story, and I don't mind waking up midnight to tell the story. The deep-rooted anger I feel and hatred is crazy because I don't know who to direct it to, but I wish myself the best, and I'm closing this chapter. She'd also gone on a rant. I believe we may have some photos of her going on a rant on Instagram and sharing some of these posts on her Instagram story. She says, very soon, I don't know if our producers have it. If you have it, please put it up. But I'm just going to read some of the posts she put up on her story. She says, very soon they will start paying their banger boys 10K. Okay, let's start with this. She said, I stand by what I said. Ask the Abela lady to come out and admit to it, if I was present or not, if she refused to clear me or not, if she seized my file or not. If they like, they should pay you guys 100K, like I said. This happened about 4 months ago, and I've been buckling up my anger, waiting for the day they'll have the audacity to start paying people to go against my truth. I won't be facing those people again and don't need the certificate, so I'm ready to go dirt for dirt. She went on further to, she said, very soon they will start paying their banger boys 10K to come for my personal life. I can already see the comments, but this time around, I actually don't care. There's nothing to protect anymore. Nonsense. And then this final one says, they are now paying people to say it's 2 months I missed. Me, when no, they even miss 1 day monthly clearance because my mama no go agree. Ooh, so we've had both sides of the divide,
Look,
right?
I think I saw some other, I don't know if there were messages sent to her into a DM or something that was put earlier on, but I don't know why we're doing this as a country. This is sad.
I
And
mean,
the NYSC coming out to put his own story and say we shouldn't politicize it.
How would they
NYSC, for
politicize
goodness
it?
sakes.
Have they even done their own
For
investigation?
goodness sakes. To avoid the bashing and the shame, let's just pass the information to the NYSC. Please, just send the girl certificates to her. It's obvious that you have her
Or
address.
investigate
Package it
the
and send it to
woman
her.
Yes.
And let's stop
that deprived her
this
from
childish thing
doing-
that a whole NYSC,
I mean,
is engaged
NYSC
in.
did what they had to do, bringing out a statement so as to avoid conjectures and all of that, but they didn't do a thorough job. That statement wasn't holistic because they had not investigated the woman that was meant to clear her and made life miserable for her, sent her to the back during the month of April, and that was the reason why she missed the clearance. So she was victimized.
Benga, even for the fact that you know that this individual has been in the public eye,
spotlight, yeah.
exactly, that should be the more reason why you should even ensure that, okay, you know what, we do what
And then ordinary Nigerians, okay, you're not politically affiliated.
Come on.
What is your business? Why are you insulting someone for telling her own story?
Well, they
Her
say that
truth.
she's a staff of the government, and
No,
some
she's,
doesn't.
it does,
Well,
doesn't
maybe
remove her
within the government
that's
employ and
agency as
cannot-
an individual.
and cannot
No.
insult the government. I think it would be very disingenuous for the NYSC to claim that this was done because she didn't do her clearance without having carried out an investigation. At the very least, a thorough investigation should have been carried out, especially because this young woman was in the eye of the NYSC storm some months back when she called out the president, and that became an issue for national discourse. Recall that they had also asked, NYSC had asked her to come. They summoned her for a hearing. And when she showed up with lawyers as well as people like Omoyele Sowore, they were nowhere to be found. So it would seem that there's been an agenda against this young woman who, for the longest time, has spoken up like she should as a Nigerian. It's well within her right to make any complaint. There were issues about how the matter was handled, and many claimed that she was defaming the government. But like I would always say, the defense to defamation is truth. Can you say that anything that she said in her videos is a lie? And if you can't, then I don't know if
Nigerians,
we have an issue here
permit me
to
to also
discuss.
mention that sometimes some of us as Nigerians were the biggest hypocrites. the biggest, and we dare say it here, we are the biggest hypocrites. The reason is because this young lady came out and said things are tough. And Nigerians, just like you and I, all of us, we understand that things are very tough. Take, for instance, she did mention about the transport fare. Has transport fare come down? You that you're watching this program this morning, you are going to work, if care is not taken, you're taking your children to school, you have to pay, it's very high fare just to go from one place to the other. The young lady talked about it. Food, she talked about food, the high cost of feeding, of taking care of yourself. She mentioned it. Is she lying? No. But then again, someone comes out or a group of people come out and say, no, you cannot say that. You are talking against the powers that be. But that's a lie. That's not true.
Right.
That is not true.
I think the very least we can do here is to ensure that there's a thorough investigation into this matter as to why her service here, she's been denied right to claim that she has gone through NYC. I mean, we could all see her go through NYC. But let's get some of the reactions from X. Inibehe has tweeted about this. Recall that he was at the forefront of the conversation at the time when Rita Osei was accused of, insulting the government. He says, the statement issued by the management of the National Youth Service Corps on its decision to extend the service period and withhold the certificate of National Service Corps member Ushe Rita Ugwamaye alias Rai does not represent the truth of the matter. I have her instructions as a counsel to respond appropriately to the statement. History will vindicate the justice.
Please go ahead, Inibehe, and do what you have to do. This is pathetic.
Awele Showere says we reject official NYSC's spurious position in its entirety.
His hand is good though. He's typing.
Very well. I'm so happy to see
manage
that.
the hand.
Youth Corps member Ushe Rita Ugwamaye Rice case could not and should not be dismissed as a mere biometric clearance issue. This was not about paperwork. This was punishment in retaliation for our public criticism of official BAT's disastrous economic policies. Silencing dissent is not service to the nation, it's a service to tyranny. We stand with Rai, will continue to fight against official NYC until the injustice is corrected. Serap has also twisted about this.
This is pathetic.
Let's take Serap.
Anyway, Serap says, we urge President Tinubu to direct the Director General of the National Youth Service Corps to immediately release Ms. Ushe Rita Ugwamaye's discharge certificate, withholding Ms. Ugwamaye's discharge certificate solely for the peaceful exercise of her right to freedom of expression is a blatant violation of Section 39 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended, and Article 9 of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, to which Nigeria is a state party. No one should ever be punished solely for peaceful exercising their human rights. Withholding a certificate is without any lawful justification and contrary to the provisions of Section 11 of the NYSC Act, which provides that the Directorate shall, on completion of the service of a member of the Service Corps, unless such person is exempted from, that's under Section 17. Okay, it goes on and on and on. But then again, we do understand what he's saying. And this one said, instead of resorting to repressive measures, the NYC must respect the human rights of all Corps members, including their right to freedom of expression, and actively ensure that peaceful expression continues without any restriction. President Tinubu should demonstrate his oft-expressed commitment to uphold the human rights of everyone in the country, and his promise to that effect that no one should bear the brunt of injustice for merely writing a bad report about me or calling me names.
You would think
democracy requires a fair degree of tolerance for harsh words and stinging insults. And we hold the NYC leadership to account if Ms. Ugwamaye's certificate is not immediately released. And that's it goes ahead to copy to tag a few other persons, which is the President, United Nations, and don't forget the United Nations Human Rights. But then again, Benga,
when you hear these kind of things, you think that we're in Uganda.
Look at what Atiku said, the former vice president. He goes ahead to say, what manner of impunity is this? Everything should not be subjected to politics. I hope that Ushe Rita Ugwamaye's NYSC discharge certificate is not being withheld because she had the courage to complain about the economic hardship under the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu-led administration. It is unacceptable that a young lady who had served the country without queries should not have received the National Youth Service Corps certificate 1 year after passing out. The appropriate authority should take urgent steps to ensure that she gets a discharge certificate, and he puts it there with the signature AA. And
I saw when you hear this story, you think that we're in Uganda, in a country that is meant to operate a democratic system where individuals have a right to express themselves. I mean, it's only people like Yoweri Museveni that should complain about you criticizing them and then being able to clamp down.
Exactly.
Or his
you have freedom of expression, you have freedom of expression, but what you don't have is freedom after the expression.
So,
you know what's going on here is the tragedy of this is ordinary Nigerians. I understand politicians will do this. I don't think there was an express instruction from
the
presidency
president. No, it's
to do this, but
service.
it's eye service from that woman that decided, and she had some cohorts within the NYC that were going to punish this woman. And then again, ordinary Nigerians, just because, you know, the president happens to be from your tribe or you support a party, does not mean that when they criticize him, they don't mean well for the country. They want things to improve, and everybody has the right to express themselves how they deem fit. Then you see what goes on these days, and it's a very dangerous trend.
That's exactly
people
what I'm saying.
defend all sorts of rubbish, and then they go ahead to attack her. I saw people questioning morals, that how can she afford to be eating in expensive... What does that have to do with anything?
Again,
I mean, it's absolutely disgraceful behavior. News Central hosted a town hall on Thursday. The criticism. I mean, people were telling their truths, their experience with INEC, the system. And the reasons why we did that is that all interested parties, stakeholders will learn and improve deepen our democracy, improve the electoral system. You know what people were saying in the comments? Why didn't you go and start in Abia State? Why didn't you start? Is that the issue? Or we should address the anomalies in our society.
Again,
it's really, really terrible.
We're still not
They're not
over the
saying
shackles of
these things they happen, or is bad, or we should improve on it. They said, go and start it.
We need to move to our next story,
yeah.
but just to say that this has is setting an unfortunate trend, an unfortunate precedent, or a dangerous precedent if this isn't checked, because what we'll then see is people will come out to call out people students will come out to call out the electorers and all, and they would not be allowed to graduate. And that would be such a very nasty place for us to get to as a nation. We hope that this is investigated thoroughly, but we'll continue to follow up, and hopefully we'll have Rita O'Shea join us. We've reached out to her, and hopefully we can have her join us. So this is just to extend an invite to Miss Rita O'Shea to come share her side of the story. But now let's move on to something that took the news by storm. Last week, social media was... I wouldn't say...
agog.
I wanted to... That was the word that came to mind. But I would say that it was divided along reaction lines. But majority of the reactions being strong criticisms against Kwam for the actions against the cabin crew. Now, we could see the videos. You remember the videos of him allegedly trying to stop the plane, standing in the side of the plane and the pilot moving. And by the directions of the NCAA, we saw that he was suspended he was given a 6-month no-fly suspension, as well as the pilots who were temporarily suspended. There were calls for further stronger sanctions to be implemented against Kwam, stating, of course, and making reference to the laws of the nation that require that he be, in this way, I would say maybe punished. But let's take a look at this video, and then he has apologized, so we'll come back to take that.
Good afternoon, gentlemen and ladies of the press, here present. My name is Olasukomi Inde Marshall, also known as K1 The Ultimate. I am here to make clarification of the incident that happened on the 5th of August 2025 at Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport local wing, while about to board aircraft from Abuja to Lagos. The incident is highly regrettable because I have contributed the better part of my life in the past 50 years to the growth and development of Nigeria, my country, art and culture, both in and out of the country. I've been a good ambassador of this great nation, in and out, in very many ways. Somebody like me should not be found in such incidents. I accept responsibility and appealing to Mr. President, the country, the Honorable Minister for Aviation, the FAAN, the NCAA, and my fans across the globe to please pardon.
Well, that's the apology video by Kwam saying he's sorry. Apology accepted or not. Now, on social media, majority of the reactions we're seeing are people saying apology accepted, but there's a punishment for crime. If you've committed an offense, there should be a punishment. We've seen people who are calling for him to still face punishment. And reference was in this case made to Section 459A. So I'm going to quote section... Okay, you know what? While I'm looking for it, please go ahead.
I mean, it's one thing to apologize. It's one thing for the apology to be timely, and it's one thing for the apology to come alone. because he signed off on that statement that
From the-
insulted
from the media-
sensibilities from his media person,
Which was also
denying
used by his
everything.
daughter, yeah.
Exactly, denying everything that happened.
Okay,
you know,
so I've seen it
thinking
here.
you can bamboozle your way through or insulting the intelligence of Nigerians. And
Section 459, please let me just quickly read it
Yes.
so that we can come back to that. Section 459A of the Criminal Code Act here that they're making reference to, which says that any person who by any unlawful act obstructs, causes an alteration to be made in the course of, or in any way whatsoever hinders or impedes the movement of any aircraft which is in motion or in flight over any aerodrome is guilty of a misdemeanor and is liable to imprisonment for 2 years. So maybe the question will now be the interpretation of this. Can we say categorically that that airplane was already in movement, especially
course,
because
of
it
course.
hadn't taken off?
Of course.
You know, so, I mean,
was taxi.
I think that's...
Of course, they had removed...
and there's video evidence to it.
They had
And the
removed, they
minister
had cleared it for takeoff.
of Aviation also
Right.
posted that video, so he's contravened that law.
Well,
and
so-
it's one thing to apologize,
Yeah.
but I don't think if he apologizes and they let him go, then he sets a very dangerous precedent. Because
Speaking about setting
if you go to
precedents.
Ikoyi prisons now and you ask all the prisoners,
All of
to
them are
apologize,
sorry. They are all
They are
repentant.
sorry.
A number of
so
them.
let them out.
Let's move now. Speaking about setting dangerous precedents, over the course of the weekend, another video emerged, and this time it's a young lady that many people on social media have started to call Kwam
Kwam 2.
She, of course, had an altercation with Ibom
Flight
Air
attendant.
staff, with the flight attendants and the security. And you could see her exerting a measure of physical assault, I would call
Slapping
that.
the air hostess.
We can't say what exactly led to that, but what we can say is she was caught on camera hitting the air hostess, hitting the security operatives. Let's take a look at that.
What did you do? What did you do to me? Did you mean? I came and
This was your counter.
She's hitting me. She is hitting me. She's hitting me. She was giving her slap left and right. She was slapping who? She was slapping on the head one. She strangled her like for like 5 minutes. They just brought her down now. She was beating her, slapping her. Everyone was just like trying to calm down. She was like serious slap, but she was giving to her. For having in mind, and everyone said having in mind to do this for me. I want to know how much you want to this today.
Here you can see the video of the young woman exerting a measure of pressure that is obviously physical assault to security operatives and staff of Ibom Air. Ibom Air is there to put out an official statement regarding this. We don't even know her name, so for now, just like social media, she's being referred to as Kwam 2.
Kwam 2.
But it's not even funny. You could see in the video, at some part in the video, where she said, I can't believe an air hostess would do that to me. I don't know what exactly was done, and it would be great to hear what was done. However, whatever was done
This reaction
does
is-
not in any way justify this action that we're seeing on camera. The fact that she knew she was being filmed and she still went ahead to react in the way that she reacted, hitting them. You know, there was a time she actually picked up her little yellow purse there and attempted to fling it at the man who she's having a conversation. Yes, that's it. Oh, yes. Yes.
This Kwam 2 is
O'Shea.
more violent, too.
But I mean, she picks her battles. She's battling against human being and not machine. Kwam 1, the aeroplane stopper, tried to stop a whole aeroplane. So it's nice that.
So this is not man versus machine.
This
It's
is
man
not
versus man.
It's man versus man. You know.
So I think that there are a number of things that we need to
Then there was
highlight here.
yes, things to highlight.
Yes.
Man versus machine, man, then man no man. Because we're going to see the reactions in comparison to what happened with K1, the
and-
ultimate.
Let's see the reactions quickly, because we're out of time. let's just go straight to the reactions. But this is pretty sad. In as much as we're trying to make light of these things, let's be honest that we're starting to live in a very lawless society. And what you see here is a clear reaction or a clear mirror of what the people are also learning from those at the top.
People are frustrated.
People are frustrated. People are copying what those are doing at the top. Just yesterday, I saw a police vehicle taking one way and coming to hit me. One way.
You should have stopped
and then
that.
They came out of the car and they said, Waka, get out of there.
Wow.
And I said, oh, wow. So you see, so when people start seeing these things, they want to copy and do the same thing.
It shows it's a free-for-all.
So anyway, but before we come back to take this reaction, I want us to highlight something here. Okay, let's take this one. Say, because you, Kwamwon, have apologized to Nigerians and as a great personality, you have indeed done well, my superstar musician. But on the contrary, we need others who have messed up in other ways to learn from Kwamwon, the ultimate. Great men should learn how to apologize when they misbehave because they are humans too. These men should apologize to their offenders. One, Bola Tinubu must apologize to Nigerians for failing to provide basic amenities he promised to Nigerians during his campaign. See the 2 years of massive hunger and starvation. Your clueless government needs to say sorry to Nigerians for all these banditry, lootings, insurgency, killings across Nigeria today. You are president today because you said you will clean up Nigeria and not add more pain to the people. Another one. Peter Obi must apologize to the Labour Party for trying to hijack the party for his 2027 presidential bid. How can he be working in a coalition and bargaining with other political parties and still standing as a member of the Labour Party? We must stay at one point in politics to run for office. You can't be saying A and be doing B. Politics is about the people and not just about one person. Wahala. Inside the sword fights, this one brought go.
Yes, okay,
but I want to highlight something that we can see from, and this is not just the beginning. In the most recent times, both the public personnel and the regular everyday people, in fact, with Ibom Air, this is not the first altercation they've had. Earlier this year, on the 8th of January, a certain Chiamaka Donubani also prevented, the plane from shutting the doors. They charged her to court. I don't know what came out of that matter. I'm not sure. She was granted bail and she was brought before court. At least she got to court. Then if you go back again, if you're looking at the influential people this year, in the past few weeks, the conversation about Adams Oshiomhole versus APC was another one. Adams Oshiomhole had his own side of the story, APC had their own side of the story, and then after that we've seen Kwam 1, now we've seen Kwam 2. The truth is,
who is Kwam 3?
First of all, if we don't start getting to a point where there are strong punitive actions for offenders, people who assault, people who try to cut corners when it comes to aviation and flight issues, we will continue to see a repeat of this. If people don't realize that if you act like this and you treat you treat maybe a cabin crew member in a certain way, that you will be made to face certain repercussions, we'll continue to see repetition of this. And secondly, I think people need to understand that air hostesses and pilots, they're not at your beck and call. They're doing their jobs. Their jobs deserve respect. Their jobs deserve...
Even downfall drivers and
everybody
conductors
deserves to be respected. So I think there's this mentality of, oh, I paid for my flights, therefore you should be licking the ground that I walk on. Imagine her saying something in the line of, I think a common air hostess, just an air hostess would do this to me.
Maybe she's related to power. Let me use that word.
Okay.
Or she used to walk in the corridors of power.
That today is today, I'm going to this. But we want to follow up.
But there's a certain type of behavior you expect from people that, I mean, you have to be of a certain social status to be able to fly and use the airport frequently.
Not anymore.
So what's going on with the aviation industry these days?
I think also
you hear all this sort of reports.
They should start doing mental evaluation for people before they get into the plane.
This type of behavior you expect
mental
from
evaluation, they said they want to start doing for students before they get into school. They'll soon start doing for people before they board plane, because the lives of many people are...
The good news is we have Kwam 2 on camera. We have Kwam 2 on camera. But let's move to another story now. While we finish with Kwam 1 and Kwam 2. We know, Benga, we talked about the president doling out cash.
Yes, that what is good for the goose is good for the gander. What is good for the falcons is good for the tigress.
Exactly.
What is good for Kwam 1 is good for Kwam 2.
And what is good for the Falcons, in this case, is good for the retired ex-Falcons.
So they should go and meet the president that was there that time.
A former player, Patience Odelu, has come out to say, President, please look at us too. We also played and won laurels.
Remember this jersey way back?
Oh, this was, for me, this is still the best jersey ever.
This is a throwback.
Still the best. You had Sheyi Olofinjano, you had Tayeto, you had a lot of them
Yeah.
who wore this jersey, and it was indeed very good. But then again, watch this video and see what she said. Take a look.
Hello, fellow Nigerians. My name is Patient Avre Odeli, a former striker of the Super Falcon of Nigeria. I represented Nigeria and won 4 WAFON title between 1998 and 2004. I want to specially thank President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, First Lady Senator Oluremi Tinubu for showing love to Super Falcon players and Big Tigers. May God bless the President for appreciating successful Falcon. On behalf of the ex-Super Falcon, I wish to appeal to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and First Lady to also show love to Falcons players that were African champs 9 times. Most ex-Falcons have nothing to show for winning laurels for Nigerians. Some have died, some jobless, and some homeless. Please, sir, correct mistake of the past by honoring and compensating us. God will surely bless you for including sports in your renewed hope agenda. Thank you so much. God bless you, sir. Now my papa be this, so we don't get another one. Now our papa be this, so now our papa be this, so we don't get another one. Now our papa be this, so President Tinubu. Now our papa you be, oh,
Super striker.
What was that? What are we? Yeah.
You deserve your own money, 100,000.
We have drama ingrained in our blood.
Wow.
Nigerians. What's so dramatic?
I think
because it was that
Nigeria.
performance.
No, what kind of president is she trying to say? Them Segun Odegbami of the Green Eagles, they should honor President Tinubu.
What are you telling
we
me?
need to start from.
They need to go back from
Macaulay's
from
time.
the grassroots.
Okay. I know it's funny, to be honest, and I get the point
goodness.
of saying that they should go back to President who was on time, back at the time, but we cannot celebrate the future of sports without also looking back at the history of sports. A number of these women played when sports was underfunded in the 90s, in the 2000s, when there wasn't social... Yes, and it's still very much, it was much more underfunded. If it's underfunded today, imagine what it was at that time. That was a time where they didn't have funds and they didn't even have glory. So let me say that, okay, if I'm not making money, at least I'm getting the glory for it. There wasn't social media, a lot of social media coverage to give them the fame that these current Falcons and sports athletes, are experiencing. So even if it's not monetary, I think it would be important for us to, look back and honor the people who set the groundwork for what we're experiencing
how do you
today.
honor them?
So there are ways to, honor
the teachers,
them.
honor the doctors, everybody.
Honor the old-time broadcasters,
the old broadcasters.
So the ways in which we can honor them would be, one, to ensure that we prioritize sports in terms of budget funding and all the likes, and ensure that those who are there now and the ones that are coming don't have to experience what the ones before have suffered. Also, it would be great to have a sports hall of fame that sort of tells the story, something that immortalizes
this thing that
these
you
people.
just said applies to teachers, doctors, soldiers. So let's
I mean, Oliver, I'm loving it. I'm loving what you're saying.
One after the other. It's
I love it.
So, to be honest, these things are ways in which, for example, when you go to Rwanda and we talk about the genocide memorial, when people can come and see something.
Documented.
If, for example, I haven't been, I don't know if this exists, so pardon me, in the National Stadium, for example.
There's nothing. No, the history is gone.
So to have maybe like a place where people can come and see those, a hall of fame, so it sort of immortalizes their name. I'm not saying they should give everybody 150 million.
Patience Okoli, former Patience Odelu,
it's not possible.
Road, like a sports, within the sports complex, you have a Patience Odelu, soccer, whatever, just to honor them.
Two things. It can be like having a wall. If you go to
track,
if you go to the Olusegun Obasanjo library, you would see when they're detailing Nigeria's history, from the military era to the civilian era. You see the car that former President Obasanjo drove. Like, there's certain relics of that time. So let's have relics of sports athletes in times past. We may not be able to give them 150 million. It's most likely not possible, but...
Well, let's take reactions. Let's see what people are saying after she put up that appeal to the presidency, telling them, please, look into it. What is this? Ifeanyi Febi says, if the president gave them just 1 million naira each, you all won't be making this video asking to be compensated. The government of the day, when you won trophies, gave you what they thought you deserved.
Hey.
Well,
it's right.
Good point. He's
Or
right.
probably gave them
He's
what
right.
they could afford.
You wear designer from head to toe. You still wear
Gucci,
Gucci,
baby.
Still the poolside for their blood. Who's going to take you serious that way? You look made already, but go to Oshodi or Ikorodu and do take two. Well,
Nigerians are very observant.
Yeah,
I can't believe they spotted that Gucci.
that Gucci.
That's what I was planning to buy for.
Please, how did Nigerian politicians convince and confuse over 250 million people to live in bondage? Asking for a friend, Sha. We don't know.
Me, I'm not
we
living in
have
bondage.
we don't have no clue.
Are you living in
Patience,
bondage?
our
No,
friend.
I'm not.
She did well in her days, coming to systematically beg because they gave out huge sums for the heroics of the Falcons. Makes no sense. You got yours then. Which kind of eye service be this one? You did Chicago. They there.
And I like that point that if it was 1 million, will you make this video?
Yeah.
10 million, will you even make this video? No.
It's a present mistake. You're only asking that he keep making mistake of spending our money the wrong way. Those girls are lucky. The whole idea behind the giveaway is politics. Again, it's very impossible to start saying that we are giving 150 million to every present or old athlete.
Yeah.
What we're saying is find a way to tell their
To honor
story.
them.
And and I'm hoping that the Minister of Youth and Sports, these are things to look into. Create a hall of fame that sort of details the journey of the heroes past, so that the labors of our heroes past will
Do
not
you have an
be in
idea of
vain.
what 150 million naira would do to Nigeria's grassroots football?
$100,000.
What it would do to
And
Nigerian
you're just
grassroots
saying
football?
one.
Just one.
In how many
I'm talking
in
about
23
like
places
23.
or more, plus the officials. Like
Plus the officials. What it would do to
That's
Nigerian
almost
grassroots
30,
football?
Why did you not give
$300,000.
It will fix
our
the
sports?
turf.
Oh,
it,
yeah.
will, it will create competition.
Yeah.
They would get their trophies. They will get, even if you split, let's say in Lagos State, let's just take one player, 153 million from one player, and you set up a tourney in Lagos State for the girls, and you say the winner goes home with 2 million naira. Just how many 2 million naira can you make from 153 million? It means that to take them for a calendar year of maybe like 5 years, and they will still be playing, and they will be spotted by international scouts, and then they will do well for
Me, I can't
themselves as
even
well.
beef the girls for the gift that they've gotten. I wish them well.
But then again-
And I celebrate them. But, I mean, this is an ongoing conversation. Let us know your thoughts on YouTube or streaming live News Central TV. Much later, we'll take your reactions to this story. Let's now share with you what our headlines and our top stories this morning are. Top stories. K1 versus Value Jet will be identifying Nigeria's aviation safety gaps this morning. Controversy trails Rivers State local government elections scheduled to hold on the 30th of August. And moving on to that, looking at some politics, Atiku allegedly stalls ADC membership registration amid Jonathan's rumored emergence. APC stakeholders appeal to Tinubu over alleged neglect in Delta State. I thought they aligned with the center. The newspaper front pages will be reviewed this morning on Breakfast Central. Join us for all these and more. Welcome back to Breakfast Central. Our first conversation this morning is about aviation safety, accountability, and the rules that protect lives in the skies. On the 5th of August last week, Fuji icon Wasiu Ayinde Marshal, popularly known as K1 The Ultimate, was involved in a disturbing incident at Abuja's Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport.
In a viral video which dominated the internet and airwaves, he obstructed a ValueJet aircraft from taxiing, prompting the federal government to place him on a 6-month no-fly list.
Well, let's tell you that Minister of Aviation Festus Keyamo described the act as akin to hostage situation and also sanctioned the pilot and captain for initiating taxi procedures before the tarmac was cleared. The K1 apologized after the incident, which has raised a bigger question and has led to others acting quite different, like another footage we showed to you during the wake-up conversation of another lady attacking a hostess and security operatives of Ibom Air. Well, is Nigeria's aviation sector operating under a safer space? And can we rightly say that the rules are being upheld? Joining us for today's discussion is Director Continuing Airworthiness and Maintenance, UMSA Aviation Services Limited, Engineer Sali Mohammed Amadu. Welcome, Mr. Amadu, and thank you for joining us here.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, viewers.
Good morning. I know you're well aware and you've seen the footages, you've seen the video, you've seen what definitely would not look too good, especially for aviation experts like yourself. Can you share with us if the repercussion or the laws, especially covering and protecting, be it air hostesses, pilots, and the likes, is currently being upheld in the two situations that we've mentioned here? First, that of Quam 1, and second, the one that has been dubbed as Quam 2, which is the attack on the hostess on Ibom Air.
Thank you very much. You see, it's a clear breach of safety procedures, unfortunately, happening in the country at this time. That of Quam 1, it's kind of a situation whereby you akin it to a hijack. Unfortunately, it is not supposed to be like that. There are so many security breaches that occurred that day before he even got to the aircraft. The security checkpoints, you know, that's of the airport security itself, which is manned by FAN, as well as those of ValueJet security. If I can tell you, the security situation is such a very, very, very unfortunate one, but I can say that it is better if we try to improve our security situation. As far as the Civil Aviation Authority is concerned, they are doing their best, and within the Annex 17 of ICAO code, as well as the Part 17 of the Civil Aviation Regulation, it protects both the pilots, the crew, as well as the passengers. This also includes the aircraft itself. So there are so many things that ought to be corrected in this instance. What we have to do is to ensure that the Civil Aviation Authority improves their surveillance of all these things and ensure that these are upheld by both crew, passengers, as well as operators.
All right, I'd also like us to talk about the pilots that were, that was given temporary suspension. It's garnered mixed reactions on social media. Those who have applauded Captain Ronti and saying that she did well in being able to move because there were people in the plane that had appointments and deadlines and had paid money to be able to save time. There are those as well who criticized her that she endangered the life of Quam 1. How do you think that this should have been handled? Do you think that the airline was well within their rights to have given her the suspension? And do you think that it should be reversed? Because we're starting to see people who are calling for the reversal of the suspension that was given to her.
Well, the airline and the Civil Aviation Authority are both correct in the action they have taken. She was not supposed to have moved without the clearance from the marshaller. She moved, endangering both lives and properties, and so the sanction is correct. She is not supposed to have moved. She was supposed to have waited and given clearance before she could move. But she moved and decided on her own volition. So as far as the regulation is concerned, she has erred and must be sanctioned.
Okay. Now, I wanted to follow up on the individual that caused all of this. He made a statement initially denying any wrongdoing, and then just in the last 48 hours, he issued a video apology saying that it was wrong to have, he apologized for his unruly behavior. And we've had senior government officials, for example, the head of the Nigerian Diaspora Commission, Honorable Abike Dabiri, she published a tweet saying that to err is human and, we should be perhaps forgiven. What kind of message would this send if a due process is not followed? Is it enough to issue an apology?
Well, I can tell you categorically that the apology is not enough, because what he did is tantamount to a hijack, which is a 2-year jail term or a 25 or both. Unfortunately, in this country, we give so much priority to celebrities and VIPs. The rule is the rule. The rule must be upheld. If Kwam had disrupted that flight, which he did that day, he is supposed to be sanctioned. What if something had happened to him and the other people on the tarmac? What do you think would have happened? It would have been a different story. Kwam faulted, he defaulted, he should be taken into account and he should be sanctioned. Let this serve as a deterrent to anybody who is also thinking along that line.
Okay. I don't know if you've also seen the other video of the Ibom Air flight, which had to equally do with another assault, but this time not by the Ibom Air staff, but by a passenger. I don't know if you saw that video, but if you didn't, I'll try as much as possible to ensure that it's put there on the screen. Please just take a look.
She's hitting me. She is hitting me. She's hitting me. She was giving her slap left and right. Who was slapping who? She was slapping on the head. She strangled her like for 5 minutes. Yeah.
All right. We just had to put a little stop to that video so we can come back to ask the question. My question is, what are the steps, necessary steps to be taken if there's an assault by a passenger on a staff of an airline, like the air hostess right there who said she is hitting me because the passenger was slapping her, and then towards the end of that video, we saw her also attacking the security operatives who, in other words, came to ensure that they settled the situation. Can you take us through what's expected to happen at that point?
Okay, the captain of the aircraft is expected to engage the security personnel. First, their own security, and then airport security, where whoever is involved will be taken into custody. If this is not done, then it means that the FAN have failed in their responsibility of securing both the life of people as well as the properties of whoever is within the airport vicinity. I will implore that FAN needs to take up much more responsibilities in ensuring that they secure both the airport environment and the people within it. This lady should not have been allowed to go like that. She is supposed to be taken into custody and handed over straight to the Nigerian police, who will take necessary actions against her.
Okay, we've seen this happen before, and I mean, this same Ibom Air had an incident on the 8th of January 2025. The last I heard of the case was that she was granted bail. A certain Chiamaka Donubani was granted bail. I cannot remember what, the follow-up to that case was. But what should be the concerns? Because we're starting to see a repeated incidence of passengers versus airlines altercation. Remember the Oshiomhole versus APC case, and then we had Kwam 1, and now this girl who social media has nicknamed Kwam 2. What will we need to do to ensure that it doesn't become a trend or a pattern where the altercations, constant altercations, and some measure physical assault against air staff, the cabin crew, and people who will intentionally try to obstruct the plane from flying?
Okay, I'll tell you. On international flights these days, they carry security personnel as passengers. Since we are seeing a growing trend of this kind of attacks, I would suggest that airlines should start carrying security personnel on board their flights. at least up to such a time when we see that things have eased out. For now that things are really getting hot, it is better that security personnel be involved with flight operations. This is my only advice for now.
Okay.
Again, let FAN do their best to ensure that they carry out their duties and responsibilities judiciously. You cannot say you are the owner of the airports and you cannot secure the premises.
Absolutely.
They need much more training as well as more security apparatus to be able to do their jobs. I mean, we have been calling for this for a very long time now. All they have to do is to ensure that they give proper training, they ensure that they have facilities with the surveillance camera and the apparatuses, as well as training their personnel in the right direction. This I will say, and I strongly recommend that they should now start thinking, or the approaches should start thinking of putting security personnel on board the flight just to avert things like this.
Okay. Now, Engineer Madu, let's address the VIP culture in Nigeria, this so-called big manism. Airlines and regulators, why do they seem afraid to enforce rules when celebrities or politicians are involved, so-called VIPs? Are we seeing a double standard here? Because there are a number of examples of VIPs acting unruly, and then, you know, they ask for forgiveness and we move on. But when the case, like my colleague highlighted earlier, is different, there we see the full weight of the law in application.
Well, you're right to say that there are double standards, and there are double standards everywhere. I have seen it happen several times. I've seen it happen to myself. We should not be segregating people when we are trying to enforce the law. I'll give you a very simple example. The reflective jackets that are being worn by staff and maybe visitors to the airport environment is being flouted by so many VIPs. They will be there to receive maybe another VIP, but they will be allowed into the tarmac, breaching the normal protocols. That is a very simple example, and you see it happen every blessed day. So we give so much respect to all these celebrities, to all these VIPs, and you know, they are really costing us the security and safety of operating within the environment. The FAA came for an audit some times back, and they faulted some of our security situation within the airport environment, and we were asked to improve. So if we are really going to improve, then we should start enforcing the laws that binds each and everybody that is operating or that is traveling within the airport environment. This I can say.
Well, there's a lot that we could also talk about, but then again, we'll wait and see what the laws will actually do, especially in these two cases, that of K1, the ultimate, even though he has tendered an apology, and the recent one, which happened just yesterday on Sunday, where a passenger actually assaulted air hostess and also security operatives. I want to say thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Amadu. It's been a great conversation that we've had, and thanks for shedding more light on the security and not forgetting to every single thing we need to know about the aviation space. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
All right. We'll go to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have another conversation here on Breakfast Central. Stay with us. With us, let's go straight to our next story. Former Vice President Atiku-Abubakar was expected to formalize his defection to the African Democratic Congress ADC last Wednesday. However, he has reportedly postponed this move indefinitely. His seeming cold feet is allegedly linked to talks of former President Atiku-Obi-Jonathan reportedly being courted by the ADC for 2027 presidential elections. Party insiders have also disclosed alleged growing friction between Atiku and former Labour Party candidate Peter Obi, with allegations that Obi's movement has gained control of ADC structures. Without further ado, we do have political analyst and, of course, one who has followed this story closely. Mr. Jide Johnson joins us live in the studio. Thank you for being here.
It's a pleasure to be with you. Great to have you all over.
Yeah, great.
All over the world. Thank you.
I know you've been following the ADC, the coalition, the movement, and so on. And then there is the emergence of a former president, all of a sudden talking tough within the sphere.
Talks of him.
Yes.
And no official statements has come out.
Yeah, but I mean, he's put out some posts that are seemingly, cringy and questionable, where he's saying it's time, the transformer, picture images and all. But let's leave all the drama. The question is, what's your take on the ADC and the developments that are starting to unfold?
First, there's no fire without smoke, and there's no smoke without fire. So don't rule out those possibilities. They test the waters. The official statement will come out later to indicate whether he's running or he's not running. But the fact is, there's an indication to that effect. As far as the ADC coalition is concerned, you could see that it's been bedeviled with normal crisis that marks the beginning of any political party or any new idea you want to come up with in terms of different people with different ideology, with different interests coming together to form a coalition to compete with the APC. Situate that with what happened with the APC in 2013, 2014, when the coalition of the five legacy parties came together. People had to sacrifice and bury their presidential ambition and their personal interest for it to make it to work. However, how do you reconcile Atiku's perennial interest in the presidency? How do you reconcile that with Obi's popularity, particularly with the younger generation who thinks and feels that it's their time and it's their turn for them to decide the fate of this country, and the time of the old generation politician is gone. So resolving that conflict and who takes control of that, and the pushback also from the parties' leadership, some of the party, the previous leadership of the party in ADC, particularly at the state level, with some of them pushing back that newcomers are coming to hijack their party structure. As a result of that, the coast is not really still clear within the ADC fold. And as far as Atiku is concerned, that's my reading. Now, the PDP platform is still within his control and within his grasp. And if he leaves that stage open, if Obi should go back to PDP or Jonathan should go back to PDP, that portends danger. And that's why I think that he's not picked up the nomination, the membership of the ADC.
Okay, you've said about Jonathan that there is no smoke without fire, no fire without smoke, and that we should expect maybe an official announcement sooner than later. But if you recall, in May 2025, earlier in the year, former President Atiku-Obi-Jonathan's wife, Patience Jonathan, whilst receiving an award, had said that she's throwing her support behind the First Lady, Remi Tinubu, talking about how if she were to run for office, or when President Tinubu is running, they will throw their support, because when she was the deputy governor's wife, she got the support from her. When she became the governor of Bayosa's wife, she got support from her. And when they ran for presidency, she got the support from Remi Tinubu and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So she believes in rotational presidency and will throw her support behind President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Does that not put sort of an end to the rumor about the potential of President Atiku-Obi-Jonathan coming out?
In politics, they say 24 hours is too long. And don't forget that politicians are after their own enlightened self-interest. And in the interest, if the coast is clear that there's an opportunity for her husband to become the president again, why would she not take it? The husband is not foreclosed from
Maybe she's a woman of integrity.
Well, there's no integrity with the political class. Buhari wept in 2011, and he said he's not going to contest again. President Buhari is of blessed memory. He wept when he lost the election in 2011, and he said he was not going to contest again. Fast forward to 2015, they went and fishing out. saying that he has these 12 million votes in the bag, and the coalition felt that the only way they can win that election is for them to
use him as...
to use Buhari. He doesn't have the resources, doesn't have the money to win the presidential ticket of APC in 2015 in Mobolaji Bank, Testing Balogun Stadium, where the APC primary was. If you look at the gladiators that contested there, they had more watchers. Atiku-Abubakar, Kwankwaso, this was the former governor that used to beat statue. Those are the people. Okorocha. They were the ones that contested that election with him, but Buhari won against all odds. And so the same thing might be applicable to Jonathan. At the beginning of this particular dispensation, when President Tinubu emerged as the president, I said the only person that can actually give him a tough time and a good run for his money if you come out to contest the election is Jonathan.
Why? What changed?
Now,
what political capital does former President Jonathan have?
Well, if you put side by side the 8 years of Buhari's administration, the APC administration, side by side with Jonathan's administration, if you look at the level of clearance and the level of tolerance of criticism of opposition and the rest of you, and then what Jonathan has done outside of office, the way he's been able to maintain himself, his candor, he's not been just a national statesman, he's become an international statesman, promoting peace and the rest of it. So that's a factor.
It doesn't necessarily transform to votes, but let's...
No, if you want me to provide you the electoral map to that effect, we'll provide it for you. One of the advantages that goes for Jonathan is that he's only coming for a second term. And it plays into the hands of whichever political elites are you going to go. The North is going to play a dominant factor in who becomes the president in 2027.
Has the North decided?
No, that's what I'm just saying that, well, you can look at it. Look, if the election is between President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Goodluck Jonathan, just the two of them, it's going to be a tough run. It's not going to be a home run. It's going to be a tough run. However, regardless of whoever is presented by the opposition, if there are more than one candidate, if there's more than one candidate from the opposition, the cost is clear. It pays the incumbent where you have
fractured opposition.
Where you have fractured opposition.
That brings me to this question. The person of Alhaji Atiku-Abubakar has been contesting elections since the early 90s. He's been vice president for 8 years. He's consistently played the role of a spoiler. If he wasn't in the last elections, if he didn't contest in the last elections, the picture might have been different. He decided to contest even after the North had produced a president that ruled for 8 years. And it seems to still be nursing serious presidential ambitions. What do you think his end game is? Is he contesting for the love he has for Nigeria? Does he love Nigeria so much that that presidency is a lifetime ambition? And will he be playing the role of a spoiler if he does get the ticket of one of the political parties?
Don't forget, he has the right, it's a civic responsibility to contest the election, to seek for election and to contest an election. So it's a civic right. But however, if you, from the analysis you provided, Atiku have emerged as the SDP presidential candidate in 1992 during the Just primary. He came second.
Tofa.
Himself, Baba Gana Kinjigbe, and Abiola came first, second, third.
Yes.
There has to be a runoff. Now, if there had been that runoff, there's every likelihood that he might have emerged as, or the runoff, then there will be a second runoff between himself and Baba Gana Kinjigbe. Abiola would have gotten the ticket because they needed the PFN support to win that ticket. But let's save that for the sake of time. Now, Atiku has, I said, a perennial presidential ambition. I can assure you there's nothing that is going to stop him from not contesting 2027 presidential. It's his childhood dream. It's part of his aspiration. I think one of the boxes that has not been ticked, and as long as that box is not ticked in his to-do list, he will continue to make an attempt and try.
Old too.
Well, look, when people talk about age for the political class, Chuck Grassley, how old is Chuck Grassley, the chairman of Senator Grassley, the chairman of the Judiciary Committee United of America? How old is Nancy Pelosi? How old is Donald Trump?
How old is Paul Biya?
So you can go on and talk about about those people. As long as you still have life, you still have hope. But as far as I'm concerned, if the opposition really wants to make an inroad in ensuring that they wrest power, because politics is about wresting power, it's about contesting election and winning the election to control the levers of government. If that's their interest, then what will be good for the opposition is for them to have one united front. If there is a divided front, I can assure you, it's a foregone conclusion for the president.
So it makes one wonder, what is this coalition they're talking of? Because they're saying it's coalition, but yet they still belong to their individual political parties. Take, for instance, Peter Obi is saying he supports the coalition, but he's remaining in Labour Party. You also have others who have said they are supporting the coalition, but they are looking to also remain in their own party. In your own understanding, I mean, just to dig deeper and possibly bring out a gold from a treasure chest, how would you say the coalition will work if the individuals want to remain in their own party and expect that they will form a coalition that would take away the current administration?
The coalition cannot work because every one of them is interested in becoming the president. Nobody is ready to sacrifice.
You saw Amechi this weekend, former governor.
Look, you see the way
they give him power, he would.
You see the way Amechi, for almost 1 year, Amechi kept quiet, and then
all of a sudden,
he started ventilating, and then he became so active that he started talking about what he would do with the president. As far as I'm concerned, it is about the enlightened self-interest that all of this. What's the ideology behind the coalition? It is most of the people in the coalition, they were in the previous government of Buhari's administration, just like the APC administration that Buhari superintended. Majority of them were in the previous PDP administration, the 16 years of PDP that they used to talk about. Majority of the gladiators were there. So what's the difference? The political class don't have your interest or my interest at heart. It is their own, and they just want to control the levers of power. What's the difference between APC, ADC, and PDP? Look, the Senate president, which party has he belonged to from inception? So we can go on and on and on and name this character. There is no ideology behind the political parties in Nigeria. What they are interested in is in which party will my interest be best at, which party will give me the platform to contest the election. So they just want to contest the election. Okay, tell me, what is the manifesto, or what are the core principles or the core values of the ADC?
Well, they say that they are people focused and they're working from the ground up. We did have the ADC Lagos State chairman. I mean, I posed this question to you. It's all about the people, and they're working their way from the ground.
Also, the other parties are not about the people. What is it about the people? What are they going to do for the people? How are they going to translate their words into action? Now, you can have the strategy. The difference between success, strategy, and tactics is execution. What plan do they have? What are the problems they've highlighted in Nigeria that they want to solve? The APC had been in government for 10 years. PDP had been in government for 16 years. Okay, you want to come in. What are the fresh ideas? What are the ideas you are bringing on the table? Not to give us rhetorics. They are just going to make people work, people shaking hands.
So where does this leave the ordinary Nigerian that is not satisfied with the ruling party and then knows that these are political vultures and hawks that were part and parcel of this same government until the end of the Buhari administration? Because it seems it's the political class that is driving conversation and driving the political vehicles. It seems like, okay, if you mention Amechi and all these other people, that the president has to emerge from this. And there are Nigerians that say, look, you're all the part and parcel of the same problem. We don't want any one of you. So where does their hope lie? Must they vote for either one of this, Jonathan, Atiku, the current president, and Peter Obi? There are people that don't even want anything to do with all these people. Do they make the decisions for 250 million plus Nigerians?
But, before you respond to that, let's go on a very short break. And when we come back, we'll talk some more about this. And just to mention that virtual audience can also be a part of the conversation. We're streaming live on YouTube at News Central TV. Please drop your comments, thoughts, questions in the chat box, and we'll take them up. But now we're going to a very quick break. We'll be right back.
You're welcome back to Breakfast Central. We're currently looking at the twists and turns ahead of 2027, and we have Dr. Jide Johnson in the studio, a public affairs analyst. Before we went on that break, Dr. Johnson, we're looking at the current options that are available to Nigerians, because it seems the opposition is just old wine in a new bottle, and there's a cross-section of Nigerians that are dissatisfied with the political class and say, look, rather not vote than go for this people. Do we have any options? Do these Nigerians have, do you see the emergence of a third force away from this professional politicians? And also, the second leg of my question is, have we ever had it? You're someone that has followed Nigeria's democratic experience with keen interest. Have we ever had such an interest in politics that it's almost like 2026 is not a calendar year? People are thinking from 2025, we jump to 2027. Have we seen the campaigns and the talks come so early? And is it a good thing for our democracy?
No, we have sacrificed governance for politicking. There's no doubt about that. What we have witnessed in the first 2 years of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration across the length and breadth of this country is sacrificing. Started talking about 2027 so early. It has never happened before in the first time of, that's the high stake level with which 2027 portends for our polity. With respect to the political class, regardless of whoever wins the election in 2027, if we don't do basic restructuring, if we don't restructure our system, it will still be the same thing. What we spoke about 4 years ago is what we are speaking about now. What we spoke about 8 years ago is what we are speaking about. Now, what do I mean? You see, we need to ensure that power is not too centralized. We don't make the center, we make the center. The beauty of federalism is to make the center less attractive and make all the subnationals very, very much attractive. We need to look into a situation whereby we do local government reforms in the sense that power at that level, people elect their representative. At this stage now, they write their names. They write the names of local government across the length and breadth. What if you add S to election? What do you have? Election. It's election. So what we do, we are not having election. What we are having across board is election. So the democratic process has become selective process, and as a result of that, it has ostracized the main people who are the sovereign in democracy. So for us to really talk about having meaningful improvement, we must restructure. We must have a strong party system. You see, I tell you this: who are the national chairman of the three parties that contested that came first, second, and third in the last presidential election? All those parties have been. Look, APC, for example, in the last 2 years, they've had 3 national chairmen. PDP in a state of comatose. Labour, cuts today, cuts tomorrow. Now, the foundation of partisan democracy is the party system, whereby you have the party system itself are not even democratic. There's no internal democracy within the party system. There's no structure. The party system are run as an appendage of either the presidency or the state governor, where the governor, we have an aberration in our political system, whereby the president is the leader of the party and the governor is the leader of somebody that was nominated by the chairman is now controlling the structure. So as long as we continue to have this system, it's a classic case of failure happening, and there's nothing we can do. We can change the personnel of government. Look, we have changed personnel of government in Nigeria. We have moved from Obasanjo to Yar'Adua to Jonathan, Jonathan to Buhari, Buhari to Tinubu now. We have changed from parties. We have moved from PDP to APC. Has there been any meaningful difference in terms of the experiences of an average Nigerian with the experiences with the rules of governance? No, there's no. It's still business as usual, because the basic structure that gives power to the people, the basic structure that gives people deliverables are not there. And so, come 2027, we politic into 2027, and whoever wins the election, we politic to 2030. 2030, we politic to 2032, and that's the way it's going to continue. Because the foundation of the foundation of this democratic experience is the 1999 Constitution, whether it's amended or not amended. That Constitution was put in place to perpetuate Abacha in power. There's too much power in the presidency in this present. Go and check it. Check it out. So it was the report of the 1995 Constituent Assembly that was put together by Justice Atiku-Obi.
Abdul-Salam, yeah.
Justice Atiku-Obi, established by Abdul-Salam, himself and other 13 wise men. Even Obasanjo, that was sworn as the first democratically elected president, did not have a clean copy of this constitution before it was sworn in. So until we go back to the foundation, I can tell whatever you build on a wrong foundation will be faulty.
understand.
And the foundation of what we have, and that's why it's unfortunate that those that have clamored for restructuring in opposition, now they are in government, they are not even talking about it.
That's life. Anyway, thank you so much, Dr. Jide Johnson, for
It's a
joining
pleasure
us.
to be with you.
We look forward to have this conversation another time, most importantly, as the development continues to unfold. We'll go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll take you straight to Rivers State here on Breakfast Central.
Welcome back to Breakfast Central. Now, the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, RISIEC, recently announced August 30th as a new date for local government elections. But this announcement has triggered a wave of backlash from stakeholders, civil society groups, and legal experts.
At the heart of the controversy is the role of the sole administrator appointed under emergency rule. Critics argue that his authority to act as the sole administrator of the state is currently being challenged in court, and so until a judgment is delivered, he should not be making decisions that affect the democratic rights of Rivers people, including appointing the RISIEC chairman and going ahead with plans to conclude local government elections in the state.
Well, joining us this morning to have further conversations on the upcoming elections, especially for August the 30th, is founder of TAF Africa, Dr. Jekepele, joins us this morning. Welcome to Breakfast Central. And let's start off by saying that it's countdown to the all-important elections. Are you ready?
Nothing like an all-important election. Thank you for having me.
I just wanted to find out what your thoughts are. But tell us very quickly, does the sole administrator have the constitutional mandate to carry out this election?
It's a copy of democracy. Very, very disheartening, to say the least. It's unfortunate that there is a court injunction in place, not that it's been passed. However, the federal government, I think the Attorney General, have acknowledged that, and they also have responded. I think they should wait for the judgment before going ahead with this election. And I believe that the judgment will restrict them and constrain them from going ahead with this election. It's a total slap on the face of democracy. The current administrator, or the administrator, is totally illegal. Every aspect of law, every lawmaker, every lawyer in the country have said that his position, his appointment, his administration is totally illegal. So we can have an unelected individual superintending over elected process. I've never seen that happen anywhere in the world. Yes, except military transition, which is named transition, you know. But this is an absolute laughable democratic process. It has no value of any kind. And so I am using this opportunity to appeal to the President and the Attorney General to put on hold. I don't know the rush. It was the same way they rushed out a sitting elected governor, and now they want to also rush in an electoral process that is flawed, totally flawed, and cannot hold. At the end of the day, the consequences would play out because you will see a barrage of court cases challenging the legality of this forthcoming election. So I wouldn't say that everything is ready for it. Neither will I also, I want to caution that the youths of Rivers State, the people of Rivers State, shouldn't do anything that will break the law.
Okay.
Let peace reign, and we will continue to advocate. If Nigeria will not hear us, the world will hear us.
Now, Dr. Ipele, the Nigerian Senate has been acting as in inverted commas, the State House of Assembly. They've been providing oversight functions for the sole administrator. Where do you think all this conversation and the rush to conduct local government elections emanated from? And shouldn't they have done a better job in their oversight functions of checks and balances, knowing that constitutionally only the governor has the right to call for elections? And by the way, the state of emergency should be elapsing the first 6 months verdict in a few months. So why the rush?
Few days, actually. I would say that when the Senate and the entire lawmakers had the opportunity to, to be able to help us sustain the dividend of democracy, they took to a voice vote that didn't have any voice. And that's why we are where we are. Now they are doing too little, too late. And I don't think they will be able to rescue democracy on which platform they were elected. It's unfortunate that, people look the other way when their own personal interest is ahead of a national interest. And I think this is where we are in this country. And I'm asking a simple question. Where are the Democrats? In the National Assembly, where are the Democrats? Where are the people we elected to defend us and to defend the Constitution? Where are the people that will stand up to say, this should not happen to Rivers State and Rivers people? It's unfortunate. There are very, very, very few voices in the National Assembly that is willing to do the right thing. I say it, many of them are my friends. It's unfortunate that whenever party or an individual interest is on the table, they will rather put that person's interest at the expense of a whole country. This is not good for our democracy. We're consistently violating our Constitution, making it look laughable, and we think that the whole world will watch us and applaud us. This is not right. And Mr. President, the time is always right to do what is right.
What are your
I
hopes?
am one of the people that kept saying to you, your legacy is more important than individual interests.
What are your hopes, Mr. Ipele? What do you expect that the government does? You're calling on Mr. President. The emergency rule was criticized for the longest time by you and a lot of elder statesmen in Rivers State. Unfortunately, we could see that the emergency rule still held and the governor has not yet been reinstated. So what are your hopes? What do you expect the presidency to do after this? And beyond what you expect, do you genuinely expect that your expectation will be met?
The last question is tough. Look, listen, this is my position. When good men keep quiet, evil will thrive. Someone will say, all that you've been saying, nothing has happened. It doesn't matter. It will go down in history that there were people who stood up, said what is right, stood for what is right, in spite of the inconvenience. However, what do I expect the president to do? Do the right thing. Return the elected governor of the state, allow him to conduct local government election. That's what is expected. And that's what every leader that truly, really wants peace and wants to be remembered for the good thing that leader will do. So that said, the president should bring back the governor that he removed with element of unconstitutionality. Two, remove this animator that you guys call administrator. Let him go home, but hold him accountable for every cent, every penny or kobo, that he spent. He should account for it. And I can tell you, whether he likes it or not, there are people who hold him accountable at the end of his tenure. So he has to be careful. It's not a threat. He has to be careful what he's doing, because you cannot spend Rivers people's money and you think we will fold our hands. It's not going to happen.
Talking about spending the River State money, we also hear that there are, seems like it's rumors that the monies being spent are actually borrowed. We don't know how true that is.
I got that impression too. What is making round that because there is an injunction that stops the central government from releasing funds to the administrator, that they have gone a borrowing. Now that's speculations, and for me, whenever a very, very important news of this sort is trending, it is in the place of the government to come out with a clear position, either to accept, confirm, or debunk. And if you allow this news of the fact that they are operating on a borrowed fund, if it keeps circulating, then we will come to a conclusion that is true, So if that is true, Joe, that is very, very, very unforgettable or unforgivable, in the sense that who will pay the interest that the banks will charge as a result of huge amount that they have borrowed? Who will pay the interest? Rivers taxpayers, people. Rivers allocation will be used. This is what is happening playing out before our very eyes, and it's not good, So I challenge the federal government, they have all the apparatus, they have the Twitters of this world, the televisions, the newspaper. Let them come out with a clear position to say, no, this is total false and a misunderstanding. Central Bank has been releasing funds, and that's what we're spending. Central Bank should come out to say, no, this is not true. We have been releasing the fund. And if you have, let's also ensure that you're not breaking court orders, because I know that there is an injunction which they have challenged, restraining Central Bank from releasing the funds. I'm yet to see or hear from the Attorney General or the State House to say that what you heard is mere speculation, is not true, And of course, we would then know that they are not operating on the borrowed funds. And if they are, they should tell us where they're going to get the interest. I think we have been overstretched, and hopefully the government will hear our voice and do the needful.
All right. What is expected from the Attorney General of the Federation? Because it seems like there's a bit of, would say, many have said there's failure on the part of the Attorney General of the Federation in explaining and helping Nigerians to benefit from what the Constitution says when it comes to River State. For us here, we've been able to put them side by side, and it seems like it's not actually in correlation. It doesn't match. But what are the Rivers people saying, especially calling on the Attorney General of the Federation? What's he saying?
I think it's, I will boldly say to the Attorney General to do the right thing or resign. That's what responsible people do. Do the right thing, defend the law, you know, in a very sane democratic practice. The Attorney General, who is the Chief Law Officer of the Ministry of Justice, you know, in most cases, they are not stooges of the president. They are not stooges of the presidency. They operate independently. We've seen that happen in places like America, in England. They are completely independent so that they can defend the Constitution when it's violated. And if a #1 chief law officer, in this case, the Attorney General, is not willing to do the duties of his office, he should resign honorably.
Okay.
And we know that we will need somebody else who will do the job and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. His job is not to defend, yes, of course he can defend the president, but his ultimate job, his #1 JD, job description, is to defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And when we see a chief law officer who is watching the court do whatever they like, who is not interested in defending the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, there's nothing more honorable to do than to resign. That's the path of honor.
Dr. Pele, the elections are in just over, the proposed elections on the 30th of August are in just over 2 weeks' time and a few days. And it seems as we speak at this moment, the momentum seems to be towards the elections holding. What are the risks of allowing the elections to proceed under these current conditions?
I've said it before. #1, barrage of court suits, injunctions, the disruption of governance. The most important is the anxiety that you have created in the minds of the people. The fact that we are not sure there won't be absolute huge voter apathy. There are a lot of people that have called me that I'm in touch with in Rivers State that says, I'm not going out of my house that day. I'm not going to vote. So the whole strategy is for them to vote themselves and select themselves and tell us that the election. And of course, at the end of the day, is also a way of siphoning money because they are going to come out with a huge budget that is used in conducting the election. And at the end of the day, it's the people that would lose. And that's why I stand for the people. No matter what it will cost me, I will be the voice of the people and I will continue to defend the rights of the people. God has given me a little bit of a reasonable influence and a reasonable voice. It's not everybody that you put on the national television, and my own interest is not for me to pursue cheap popularity. I'm not camera hungry. I am interested in making sure that my voice counts, and I will defend the people that God has put me as part and parcel of. They may not have the influence that I have. They may not have the opportunities that I have, but I want history to remember me that I stood up for the people, no matter the cost.
This position that you're taking, is that the position that is taken by the majority of the elder statesmen and people in Rivers State? Are they excited or disinterested in the upcoming election scheduled for the 30th of August?
The fact that they are not coming on the national television does not mean that this position is not their position. Many of them, several of them, some of them are afraid of not of coming out to speak, you know, because they have political interests or maybe economic interests. You know, people like us, nothing, absolutely nothing. Not interested in politics. I'm not interested in their money. I'm not interested in their position. I'm interested in the people. And that's what I stand for.
All
Not
right.
even personality. It's the people. So many of them that have access to the media and can enjoy the visibility have refused to come out. Yes, that does not mean that they are in support of what is happening. There are a lot of people that won't have the boldness and the confidence to come out and speak and bear their mind. I am one of those that will do the needful for the sake of the people. It cost me all. There are a lot of things I lose as a result of this, but I would rather lose personally and win people on the side of the people than anything else. This is the best moment of one's life, the moment to defend the integrity of democracy, the moment to defend the people of Rivers State. This is why God put me in that locality, so that I will not keep quiet when evil is thriving.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Jacob Wele, for joining us. And we look forward to see what will happen in the coming days and weeks as August 30 is just around the corner. And hopefully we'll get to speak with you again.
Give my love to everybody in New Central. You guys are the best, and just keep being the best. My sister, I haven't seen you for a very long time. You know, your voice brings color to the conversation. Thank you so much for what you guys do.
Thank you, Dr.
This is a national service.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. All right. Well, let's tell you that we do have coming up next here on Breakfast Central, we have breakfast headlines. So do well to stay with us. Welcome back. We'll begin the news in West Africa, Nigeria, to be precise, where the Nigerian army says it killed 5 terrorists, including a top commander on its wanted list in a series of nationwide operations. In Borno State, troops repelled an ISWAP attack and killed Amirul Fia, also known as Abu Nazir, alongside 2 fighters. In Zamfara, 2 kidnapped victims were rescued after troops forced terrorists to flee during an ambush. A separate operation in Ebonyi State led to the death of an armed criminal involved in a communal clash, with weapons and explosives recovered. Meanwhile, Kirawa and Agregrin border town in Gwaza local government area of Borno State, as the people were thrown into panic on Saturday night as a suspected Boko Haram terrorist invaded and kidnapped a young schoolgirl, is actually in the news. A News Central confirmed that the kidnapped young girl, Aisha Mohammed Aja, had just completed her junior secondary school examinations before her abduction. The terrorists reportedly arrived on motorcycles, heavily armed, and began shooting indiscriminately before setting houses and vehicles on fire, where they exchanged fire with the armed forces in Kirawa. The chairman of Kirawa Development Association, Yakubu Maba Ali, joined us early in the news, and he had this to share. We'll bring you his response concerning the insecurity situation in the north in a subsequent news bulletin. Well, let's move on now and tell you that gunmen have attacked a police station in Babanla community, Ifelodun, local government area of Kwara State, killing 5 people, including a police officer identified as Adejumo Wasu. The attackers, reportedly numbering in their hundreds and riding motorcycles, also raided the local market and forced residents to flee for safety. Security forces, including the army, police, DSS, and local vigilantes, were swiftly deployed to track down the assailants. The Kwara State Police Command confirmed the incident and also described it as a brutal assault on law and order. Let's leave Nigeria now and go to another West African state, this time in Ghana. Final DNA results for Edward Omani Boma and 5 other victims of the recent military helicopter crash have arrived from South Africa. Health Minister Kwabena Minta Akando and Inspector General of Police Christian Tete Yohunu received these samples at Kotoka International Airport on Sunday, completing the identification process for all 8 victims. The August 6 crash left bodies burnt beyond recognition, prompting advanced forensic testing abroad. The confirmations now allow families to begin burial arrangements. President John Mahama had earlier noted the challenges of identification during the burial of 2 Muslim victims. The tragedy claimed senior government and military officials, with authorities pledging continued support to grieving relatives. Away from that, let's still stay within the region. This time in Mali, the ruling military junta has moved to quell a suspected coup attempt within its own ranks, arresting dozens of soldiers in recent days. Authorities say those detained are suspected of plotting to overthrow the government. The crackdown comes as the junta faces ongoing jihadist insurgencies, fueling instability across the country. Among those arrested is General Abbas Dembele, a respected military leader and former governor of the Mopti region, who was apprehended near the capital Bamako without public explanation. In Central Africa, tension is rising in Chad as supporters of jailed opposition leader Success Masra take to the streets in protest of his 20-year prison sentence. Masra, a former prime minister and fierce critique of President Mahamat Idris Deby, was convicted for allegedly inciting deadly violence that left 42 people dead in May. His party, the Transformers, has rejected a court ruling calling it a political witch hunt aimed at silencing dissent. Protesters in N'Djamena are demanding Masra's release, accusing the government of weaponizing the judiciary to crush opposition voices. Despite the unrest, the government has remained silent, while Masra's legal team insists the case lacks credible evidence and plans to appeal.
Il vient d'être condamné aux côtés des autres citoyens à 20 ans d'emprisonnement ferme sur la base d'un dossier totalement vide. Mais comme vous l'avez constaté, nous assistons malheureusement à une consécration d'une pratique qui consiste en l'instrumentalisation de la justice pour pouvoir régler des comptes politiques. Nous ne le dirons jamais assez, et cela est regrettable pour notre pays. Que la justice n'a pas eu le courage de s'affirmer. Elle n'a pas eu le courage de démontrer son indépendance en tant que pouvoir, mais qu'elle est à la solde des gens qui pensent pouvoir l'utiliser comme instrument pour pouvoir résoudre leurs problèmes politiques ou régler les comptes.
That does it for Breakfast Headlines this morning on a Monday here on Breakfast Central. Stay with us. We do have more coming your way. The front pages up next.
Welcome back to Breakfast Central. Now it's time for us to bring you the front pages of the newspapers, and you can be a part of the conversation by tuning in, dropping your thoughts in our YouTube live chat or calling in when we start with the papers. The numbers to call on your TV screen. This morning we're joined by Public Affairs Analyst Theophilus Akatugba. Good morning. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning to you all.
And what in the coalition is going on here? Why are you all wearing the same color? What is going on?
It's a coalition of colors.
We make you green with envy.
I see that you all have a separate WhatsApp group where you pack, yourselves and plant together to gang up
And
against
it's a very rare color to
Olive.
coordinate with. So
I know.
today has to be a very special day.
You all are coordinating with me because my name is Olive. Let's get into the papers this morning. On the front page of the, let's see which one to start with. Okay, let's start with the Punch. I like to start with the Punch. States hit by 68% spike in foreign debt payments. Debt servicing threatens states' fiscal stability, according to NATI. Lagos, Rivers, others spent 235 billion naira in 6 months. CFCC arrests 93 suspects for internet fraud in Ogun State. Federal government launches e-fiscal platform to crack down on tax evasion. Another UK-based Nigerian jailed 5 years for rape. You see him. Rivers local government poll umpire under fire amidst ADC APC attacks. Doyin Abiola, media gurus reflect on democracy soldiers' life. Flood crisis, federal government predicts more devastation in 15 states India buys Nigeria crude as Dangote imports U.S. oil. Uniport refutes allegation of abuse of office leveled against governing council chairman. And that's all on the front page of the... Oh, I don't think that I mentioned this. You can see there are pictures there of those men bowing down. They're not bowing down to God. They are bowing down to EFCC as they have been arrested. 93 suspects arrested for internet fraud in Ogun. Okay, maybe we can start with the last story that we talked about. Rivers local government poll, ADC, you know, their poll on power under fire amidst APC, ADC attacks. Okay, no, we talked about the Rivers election. That's not that story. Okay, we'll come back to that. Let's talk about flood crisis. Flood crisis, federal government predicts more devastation in 15 states. In the past weeks, especially in Lagos, here we've talked about the impact of flood. We've not talked about, we've seen the impact of flood. How well are we faring in terms of flood assessment and preparedness? Because NEMA would always come out, you know, NEMA would always come out to warn us. The meteorological agency would always come out to warn us. But how prepared are we?
Well, there is never enough preparation. Why? Because there are many things that we do as citizens and even government that makes us absolutely not prepared for this kind of situations. The way we manage, even the people, the way they manage their environment, the choices we make in even selecting where to build. Citizens go ahead of government development to develop areas. Even when governments have not said you can go build. People go sell these lands and then people start developing. The government chase after them to bring amenities. It's supposed to be the other way around. The government facilities are supposed to be in place before people go to build. But that's not the situation. Even when the place is not suitable, it's low lands, and it faces threats, very potential threats of flood, you can see those areas are developed. So the issue of flood is a big issue that we are never prepared. The fact that you are warned is not a preparation. The fact that there's a warning that rains will be more and there will be flood is not a preparation. And what are the people doing to avert a possible flood? How do you avert flood when you're already in low-lying areas? Places like Lekki that were claimed, lands that are reclaimed, and you know those lands keep sinking. And so how do you prevent flood in the future in such places? People build in valleys and close to reef. Look at the Jeddah area, very sad development. And many other places like that. People even choose, when people want to live in houses to rent, they don't even check for evidence of flood.
So is it not the government's responsibility to sanitize the system?
If government takes the action they should take, the lamentation will be that government has displaced so many people.
Okay.
And so because of the way we develop our communities, development go ahead of government. Sometimes government has seen those areas as not very habitable, but all of a sudden on Monile we sell, people will build.
All right, we have Mohammed calling from Port Harcourt. Let's quickly take Mohammed's call. Good morning, Mohammed. Thank you very much for calling.
Good morning, ma'am. My name is Alhaji Hassan Mohammed Ndabaki. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
Yes, please go ahead.
Well, I think it is very sad and unfortunate situation where government and enforcement agencies will allow people to build in the wrong side of the land where water usually passes and nobody will ask questions. And when you look at all this flooding, there are variabilities in this flooding. You can't use last year's predictions to cope the situation of today and tomorrow. That's why you look at the tributaries of these floodings from the lake and canals. They are all blocked, and at the end of the day, the water will not abide where people are living. So I think the enforcement agency should look beyond money making. Because if you look at what is happening in Lagos, it's not what we are expecting to see, where people hard-earned money are being demolished because the enforcers took money and did the wrong job. Now, who do we hold accountable for those errors? Because some houses are there for 10 years, 15, 20 years, and all of a sudden somebody came and said, there's an error, and as a result, let us demolish it. So I think
much for sharing that.
And I think Mohammed's daughter there is a budding journalist. She wanted to contribute.
I think what he has said is in line with the fact that people get permit to build, and most of those buildings that we see, a lot of them do not really have proper permit. If you go deep into it, they are fraudulent permits. You obtain them by bribing an official.
So there's connivance at the government level.
Well, you see, it's bigger than that. When you use the word, you see, we live in a country where people are trading everywhere. Anyone in authority trades with his office. He makes a living with his office, and it's become a commonplace.
That's why they call it workshop. Yes. Now, where you do work?
You put a man in the National Identity Office, they complicate the entire place and start charging people for what should be free. They want to change something for you. Go there and see the misery people are facing to do simple things. They put you in an office where people get passports. You transform it into a place where you people make a living outside of your salaries. Don't you know this? We have come to accept that as standard practice. And that is why when you are looking for a solution to a problem in this country, you never find the solution, because the very people that you want to find the solution are trading with the opportunity. These are the issues that affect us, not that we can't resolve our issues.
Okay, let's bring in another paper, then we'll come back to see if the other ones want to take there. Let's go now to the Leadership newspaper. On the front page of the Leadership, still the federal government issues flood alerts to 15 northern states. You can see the picture here of the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, being welcomed to his operational visit to Kebbi State yesterday. Interesting. NUC begins review of private varsity regulations. Fayemi denies joining ADC, says he remains in APC. NYSC Atiku orders disagree over core members' service extension. Dangote Refinery receives CNG trucks for fuel distribution initiative. Abbas leads presidential committee to mend cracks in Bauchi APC. Heavy debt service in deductions stifling states' native wants. Obasanjo Library threatens legal action after EFCC arrested 93 at hotel. Oh, wow. So those people bowing down we saw at the Punch newspaper, they are from...
Of course, they went for training on hotel. Tache.
Well, okay. Soaring energy costs push small businesses towards extinction. Let's start with a story we began this morning with. Oh, yeah, there's one more. Naptan, Ogun, NUT, NAND demand urgent education reform. Let's start with Miss Rita Ushe, the young lady who called out President Bola Ahmed Tinubu some months back, who was seemingly sanctioned, or they attempted to sanction at the NYC. The youth, exactly. She's claimed now that they refused to give her her discharge certificate. Beyond claiming to refuse to I hope we have the video so we can play it. Beyond claiming that they refused to give her the discharge certificate, she also backs it up by saying that they are saying that the reason they're not giving her the certificate is because she missed her clearance.
April clearance.
April clearance. And she's saying in reference to that, as she went for the clearance, the LGL told her to wait, kept telling her to wait, and after a while seized her file and refused to clear her. Now, many have said that this is, again, a way to politicize the situation and punish her for expressing her rights as a Nigerian to free speech. Others have said that this is NYSC rules. Let's quickly play the video and then we'll have Mr. Katuga respond. The video of Rita Oshier, and after that we can also take the response by the NYSC.
After 1 year of serving this country, I literally went there with my cohort people, or should I say people we served together, and when it was my turn, they said no certificate for you. I had to go home, and since then I locked myself at home and I was looking like a mess. I didn't talk to anyone, but today I decided to get up and go to the gym. It's been a long time I went to the gym, and I just feel like I need to let some steam off my body so I no longer feel angry towards myself. Yes, I genuinely feel angry towards myself, and I feel like I was played big time. You know when people think like, oh, because they're older than you, they are smarter and they can put you in a corner, and that's the kind of emotions that's running through my vein. I feel like it's so much anger, but I just cannot release it. I'm trying to buckle everything up. And honestly, when I look back and I'm like, how much do I need this certificate? This is something that I genuinely need. And to be very honest, if not for my family, I wouldn't even give a damn about it. But yeah, bye guys.
All right, that's her video. And then there's a reaction, an official statement from NYC. Let's take the official statement as well, explaining why they say she has, not been cleared. You can see here they say, contrary to false claims that she was denied a certificate of national service, CNS, due to critical remarks about the government, this assertion is entirely unfounded and false in its entirety. Rita is among the 131 core members whose certificates of national service were withheld for valid disciplinary reasons. Specifically, Rita's service here has been extended by 2 months for failing to attend the April 2025 biometrics clearance, a decision that aligns with the NYC bylaws. It's important to note that this extension is a standard procedure and not unique to our case, and the principle of equal treatment was only applied in this case. Let's get your thoughts.
My first reaction is that her video is also very implicating. She's implicating herself the more, making statements that are not
right. We'll wait for the calls to keep coming in. Hopefully, we'll get more. Let's check out what paper we're going to next, and most definitely, let's see our very next paper. Very interesting stories on the front page there, I must say. Let's try Daily Independence. Do we have that?
Okay, I think we've done the Leadership, we've done Punch.
Daily Independence. Let's see if we have Daily
Independence. Right, the Daily Independence.
Okay, there you have it. Serap NGE asks call to halt intimidation of Badegi FM by Governor, according to NBC. Governor and NBC. Obasanjo Presidential Library threatens legal action over EFCC raid. Federal government to partner states, private sector to boost food security systems. Another 4 years of APC will be catastrophic for Nigeria, ADC says. Experts reveal key driver of Nigeria's air passenger decline. And we also had one again. I don't know if you saw the recent one. The lady who went on board Igbo Air.
And assaulted.
Yes, I saw it. I'm wondering, what is it that's happening around the airport that seems to create all this kind of tension? I just wondered, is it that people are getting angrier, people are getting more, nervous, impatient in handling little...
Or maybe there's something in the food when you consume GMO. Let's take this call. Let's take this call. To behave like an organism.
Let's take this call. Hello, good morning. Can you turn on the volume of your TV set and go ahead and share your thoughts?
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yes, Oliver, I was listening to your guest, and if I may say something about him, I think he's not being just straight, and the way he's addressing this issue is what I don't like. This lady in question that is a youth corper, the way he's addressing her matter is what I cannot understand, because it's like he is on the side of the government. We all know what played out when this lady made her first appearance on the social media, talking about the president, saying something that every other person can say. I don't know if he's telling us that the girl committed an offense. If you don't know, I was thinking, I know that this thing playing out today will come up. I know. The moment she voiced out what she had in her mind, I know that this drama playing now will come up. What kind of a country are we? A lady made a comment, which is also a fact. She didn't lie about what she said. She said the correct thing. This government is bad, and so on and so forth. This government is insensitive, which is a fact, and she's been persecuted about it. I was thinking that the guest in the house should, condemn it outrightly. The girl does not have any blame. You see, in this country, we keep on pretending that all is well when all is not well. How else can she express herself How else can she express herself? She said something and nobody's talking about, and we are trying to blame her for even speaking. As long as I'm concerned, they can hold her certificate as long as they want. But I think the true Nigerians, human rights activists in Nigeria will go out to get justice for her. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you, Trude. Anyway, it says you're on the side of the government, but let's just state clearly that Trude, everyone has a right to
not
their
even
opinion.
that.
And it's not on the side of
The point is that she's saying what is right according to Chude, but she's not properly clothed to say it. She is a different personality. She's under the president. She is a staff of the president.
So
she's a youth corper.
So I think that
must uphold.
So, but the Nigerian constitution supersedes
not
our freedom of expression.
No, your freedom
is it not covered?
No, a military officer cannot criticize the commander-in-chief openly,
is the
even though he
NYSC
has a right to do so.
So
yes, it's a
arguments,
paramilitary.
So that's the thing. They would argue with you that the NYSC is not a paramilitary.
I say it is a paramilitary.
They would argue with you that the NYSC officials
those arguments
civilians...
doesn't hold water. The law that establishes says that the commander-in-chief is their direct commander, the military officer is their head. It's a paramilitary force.
Well,
see, people don't understand that you can say what you like, but who you are matters. You are broadcasters. There are certain things you say that carry weight. There was a video you did that's gone viral, but other people say that every day. So everybody must know which office do you hold. This is why a public officer might not say certain things in public.
Let's go to Taraba now. Let's hear what somebody will say since he's joining us. Joseph, go ahead.
Can't criticize our bosses.
Hello, News Nigeria. Good morning.
Good morning.
News Central. Thank you for calling.
News Central. Go ahead.
Yes. Your guests don't seem to be getting it right. Because this lady, this young girl, voiced out a feeling that thousands of Nigerians are facing. There is actually hunger in the land. What is wrong with that saying that there is hunger in the land? There are many students that are passed out, covered, that have not gotten jobs. Do you mean holding her certificate will prevent her from going ahead to achieve her life ambition? This girl, it must not be a government organization, because I listened to him saying that she will not get jobs in the government sector. Is she not going to perform better even as an entrepreneur? At least we should promote this kind of things, not sentencing her to death or sentencing her. The man dies in that person who keeps quiet. Everybody, he himself is feeling the pinch. He's feeling it. So please, praise that girl for telling us the truth. Government should live up to its responsibility. Thanks.
All right. Thank you so much for calling, Joseph. But let me also take you on the statement. I mean, many would still disagree with you that she had the right to say it. Because whether we like it or not, the NYSC established in, I mean, if you look back in 1973, many will tell you that it was established as an organization basically for community service and civil development projects. And most importantly, it may have some form of military structure, but primarily it's a social and developmental program rather than a paramilitary. So they'll tell you that it has no iota.
And the commander of the NYSC is who?
The DG.
Yeah, but regardless,
the Director General.
The Director General is appointed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That
he has always been a military officer.
Yes,
but he's appointed by the president.
But it is not a paramilitary.
He's not appointed by the army.
Whatever you want to call
it is not.
The lady now
a paramilitary.
She's now in the eye of the storm. She has utilized her office to speak.
Yeah, and I just wanted us to clear that is not.
Well, the word paramilitary, we can withdraw that, but the NYSC is under the control of the Nigerian military.
So I don't know if they are under the control of the Nigerian military per se.
That's why the head of it, the DG is a military officer.
Okay, you know what? Let's
and both of the NYSC camp are mostly managed by the military officers.
Yeah, because of the structure. So, but it is a service, a community service.
So I think we should also go back to why the NYSC was established.
That's why they help us to conduct our election, because they are part of the apparatus of our state and structure. The fact is this: if you are a civil servant, and a federal civil servant,
not civil
and a permanent secretary, you can't go in public and say the president is
But the NYSC is not, they're not civil servants.
You see, are we looking, the man...
Okay, but she's
because
not
I think
being punished.
that's the core of why...
She's not even being punished.
She's not being punished. She has been cautioned.
The NYSC has not said
we are punishing
this is
her.
Why. They said
she did
the
something
crux
wrong.
of the debate is that she missed her April clearance.
And then
she said she was victimized.
Well, she said she was there.
So they should investigate
that's
that.
what we should be
I think they should investigate whether she was victimized or she actually appeared for it. That's another matter.
I think there are two matters that are very, very connected.
Take note of this. No NYSC person should criticize the commander-in-chief. Go study this. It's actually wrong of you to do so in public.
No, we're not saying.
In the manner she described our president as terrible.
You know what? Let's take this call from Uche and let's hear what Uche has to say about it. Good morning, Uche. Please go ahead with your comment.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, from what our guest is saying there, NYS members should not criticize the president. But we have heard and seen where some of the NYS members were being kidnapped, and the president could not even be able to do what? To rescue them. What do we say about that? Does it mean that the president have, fallen to his mandate, or whatever we can call it? And the member and the family of those people that we are being kidnapped, paid ransom for them, their loved ones to be released. So how do we, marry the two? You cannot criticize the president, and the president cannot do his duty to protect the NYC members. That's my point this morning.
All right, thank you so much. So we just want to clearly state that in as much as we share our points, everyone is entitled to their opinion. So is our guest. He's entitled to his opinion, whether we like it or not. But just to clarify that the NYC is not a paramilitary.
Because if you go back to just...
It's basically just service, social service, where people have to give a year to serve their country in whatever capacity. However, it has a structure of the military, because the military is there to ensure that they manage the process and so on, but it is not. But I get your point, and I get your point explicitly. Because you are serving your country, and it is under the aspect of, okay, because you're serving under the military who are in command, and therefore you do not have the right, while serving the country, to also talk against the government.
And your employer, your chief employer.
You've given yourself to serve. That is another truth that can coexist, whether we like it or not. So we can move on now.
Is it a truth?
Yeah, somewhat. You could look at it that way, because...
just look at us.
Just look at
now. Can we criticize our employers?
Well...
Openly.
Yeah.
Well,
it's
people... So if you decide to criticize your employer openly...
And there will be a reaction.
There'll be a reaction from the employer.
Honestly, I would say that, first of all, even the president that is involved has said that they should not arrest anybody or, victimize anybody for calling him names.
People doing eye service.
So this is really giving eye service.
I can criticize.
So that's another angle again. That's another truth.
It's the legality or otherwise.
I really don't know why we're doing this, because the statement issued by the body itself is that she missed a clearance.
That's it.
And then she also alleged victimization during the clearance. So we should be investigating.
No, why we are speaking about that is because they are interrelated. If that issue of her criticizing the president and being asked to... If that never happened, we would never be here today.
But let's deal with the one they published.
Let's wait for them to carry on investigation. We have another caller from Osage. Welcome. Good morning.
Osage.
What's your talk? What's your take?
Good morning, Osage.
Yes, please. I want to talk to our guests and make contribution to this issue.
Fire down, like we say.
Yes, this issue is very germane. Now, one of the things the guest said, the man at the step, they don't say any other things that what the lady said that is good, that make the government to increase the allowance of the coppers. That is one part. Then the second part is mentioning the name of the president. You don't do it in other clients. Let us look at that to say the president, using that kind of derogatory word and mentioning the name of the president. That is the bone of contention. The NYSC would have made her to apologize. As a copper, she's wearing the National Youth Service uniform, which is paramilitary. The other man is saying not paramilitary. Okay, now let us look at PCROC, police relation. They are not policeable. They are just special people working in the police. Would they condemn the IG? Once you condemn the IG, you have it dismissed as a member of PCROC. So the same thing to the to NYSC. NYSC is organized as a paramilitary to train. That's why the military are there to drill them and train them and how to behave in wherever they are. Yes, she might not need the certificate. She might go to abroad and and whatever it is. But let us be fact. NYSC would have advised her to apologize on it, and that's all. And her certificate be given to her because she now said, oh, she has went she went for the screening and all that. Let them investigate if actually she went and for the screening, so that the whole matter should be rest of will be rest upon. The NYSC is making her popular. Thank you.
Thank you very much,
so much,
Osagi, for calling.
I mean, Osagi's point is also, like I said, in a pool of opinions and conversations, whether we like it or not, one thing stands.
We can
One,
agree
we've identified
to
what it
disagree,
is. Two,
I think the
everyone
agreement
has
is
his
that-
opinion as to what the correct process should look like.
I think the one thing that we all agree
behavior
with is that
should be.
there should be an investigation. That's what we all agree with.
Period.
That she's made strong claims. NYSC has said that.
You know, Mr. Katiba, let me also highlight here so that we don't seem like we're stirring the nest and so on. The lady who also called her then and accused her and warned her, if we were to go by this same principle, that lady should also be called out and come to the public.
Because who sent her?
Because you don't call. She
That's
said,
a
"Oh,
threat.
I'm sent. The president said you cannot talk to you can't do this." Who sent you? And why would you call and threaten a youth corper? Now that's another angle. So you see, if we want to look at the layers to this problem, we don't go come out here.
Well, the officer who was doing that was only speaking to her as as someone who just care and like an elderly sister warning her on a personal level. She's the one wearing that uniform. She's the one that knows that uniform comes with responsibility. Just like a man who holds the national honor of this country, you are not supposed
Just
to
like Kwamwon.
Yes, a Kwamwon who has a national honor,
he's an
his
ambassador of the
behavior,
country.
yes, will be condemned because he holds a national honor. The honor given to you is to keep you in line of a patriot.
That's why they say honor is given to whom honor is due.
I agree with you.
Still talking about stifling voices, right? I mean, she claims she's been intimidated. Another organization that is being intimidated is Badegi FM in Niger State. As quickly as we can, let's touch on the top left corner of the Daily Independent. Serap NG asked courts to halt intimidation of Badegi FM by Governor. That's Governor Omar Bago
Former governor
of Niger State. Apparently, Governor Bago had reportedly ordered security operatives to seal the radio station, threatened to revoke its license, demolish its premises, and accusing the station of promoting violence in the state.
I mean, even in the height of the military government, they didn't go this far.
No matter how bad the station has behaved, the governor has no powers to do what he's doing because he is supposed to follow due process. It's the NBC that empowered the radio to operate. He's supposed to follow the right procedure so that the NBC will sanction the station if it is found that they are promoting violence. This is why you see state police is being frowned at, this kind of behavior.
Yeah.
In a country where people are impatient, this governor is is a very youthful governor, very young governor. And sometimes youthful temperament is different from elderly temperament.
It's true. It was part of his youthful temperament that said he should cut the hair.
Anybody that has dreads,
there was a day he was in a public gathering
and he came out to apologize.
And he slapped somebody who challenged. He said, please give him a slap.
Yes.
So that's youthful energy.
It's wrong youth.
So when we say
it's happened three
not
times.
too young to rule, don't forget that there is that youthful
Call him
passion.
for his name. Don't paint all the youths as...
No, I'm not. I just tell you that there is youthful passion, energy that sometimes can be misdirected. That's why you need some.
Would you say
calm temperament,
or would you say it is
Power
a weakness?
No,
it is a weakness on his part that he
And I
has
think it's
failed
more
to realize.
I'm saying to you that yes, but everyone will always tell you he is quite young. He's one of the youngest governors around, and whether he has the anger issues, you have to know that as head and CS, chief security officer of your state, the responsibility falls on you to be circumspect and always be more reflective before you react.
And the problem with that,
Nigerian youths, please stop addressing him as
and the problem with that is if this
another-
goes unchecked, we're setting a precedent for what will happen in different states.
This is
we'll
why
start to see a
people
replication
are
of this in
afraid of
different
the
states.
state police.
We've seen Rivers State.
they
We're
will
still
be
struggling
serious.
with Rivers State issue. Now we're struggling with Governor Bago issue, closing the radio station. You see, it's starting to go. These things, if
no,
not
I don't think. I think we should separate them.
Yes,
What's
yes.
happening in Rivers is
It's completely different.
I'm talking about issues.
Okay. No, I'm talking about the suppression of press freedom. The media is recognized as the fourth estate of the realm for a reason. And if we don't check this now, what will happen is it will become a norm where you and I and Benga and all of us here will be afraid to come on TV and say certain things that are critical of the government because we're afraid that tomorrow we'll get a sanction, we'll be shut down, our building will be demolished and the likes. It's really ridiculous.
I think what we must do is that the radio station must petition the governor and sue the governor.
They've already sued him to court. Sarah has sued him.
And then the governor need to follow due process. You can't just unilaterally close down a broadcast organization in a democratic space. I think he has overreached his power.
And I think that NBC also has a role to play because if it's to ban songs that they think is inappropriate for television and radio, they'll be very quick to jump into action.
No, in this case, NBC will not come in yet until they're invited in because at this point in time, the station must write to NBC that something has happened.
Does the station write to NBC when the station is playing
NBC
music?
do you know that people can make a phone call to the NBC about the content of your broadcast and they will act upon it. Every society, citizens are free to report your broadcast.
So the NBC
content.
does not have a right to also protect the integrity of the media?
No, the NBC, and that's what they're doing in this case.
The NBC will be saying that you are not supposed to. You can't. NBC must have reached out to the government. You can't close down the broadcast house, licensed and empowered to operate by the NBC, which is an arm of the federal government. So that's...
And the presidency
and even the AGF has also spoken as well. The AGF Attorney General has also spoken through his essay, telling the governor that, listen, it's wrong. And many have attributed that statement through his essay to a political statement because both of them don't see it.
I mean, the politics, it is interesting. But thank you so much, Mr. Katuba. Thank you to our virtual audience. On YouTube, we can see the comments. Mokuye Chukwuemeka, thank you for always showing up. Chukuma Paul, Eniye Isaiah Paul. Thank you all for the comments. We'll exit the studio. Jasiri continues. And of course, you know that Jasiri brings lots of hot topics you don't want to miss. We'll be back again same time tomorrow. I am Olive, MOD.
And I'm Benga Boro. I would like to wish my dear brother and friend, Colonel Yakubu Babangida Yakubu, a member of the 31st Personnel Platoon, Nigeria Military School, Zaria, NMS 93, a happy birthday. He's a fantastic officer and gentleman.
No wonder you're wearing green today.
Yeah, to dedicate
I see what you did
well, wearing green.
Thanks, guys. I'm Joe Hansen. See you guys tomorrow morning.